So that, what was the best thing about your Gossip Girl experience?
I think being in New York City, playing the kind of mom that I hadn't seen represented on television, um, and the fact that sort of the parents on the show had a great storyline, that they weren't perfect, that they were still figuring it out too, while they were parenting and while they were doing whatever. So, and just getting to work with really talented people. The hair and makeup people were beyond talented, and the costume people and the writers, and just to have it be so cohesive, and then actually to have the network behind it and have it be a huge success was just, I loved going to work every day. Loved it.
What about, all the kids, as you say, were like mobbed eventually. I mean, it was filmed on location in New York. Like, I remember seeing pictures, like eventually everyone became a superstar. Like, did that trickle up, the fandom for Gossip Girl and Melrose, but for Gossip Girl was so huge. Like, did that trickle up to you and the adults where you like were mobbed wherever you went to?
Yeah, I think in a different way. I mean, I usually had a stroller with me or like was carrying like a kid. But yes, it was different. So people approached differently, and it was definitely like moms and daughters. They would just be like, "Oh, hi," Yeah, it was different than the young kids, but yeah, for sure. It was nice. Matthew and I got a lot of that when we would go out together.
When you get approached, I mean, you have all these other things that you mentioned that you were into, when you get approached in real life, just between Melrose and Gossip Girl, is it like West Coast, East Coast? Is it based on someone's age? Like, what do people want to talk about the most?
It's usually like young people, or the next generation, which has been such an incredible thing, is you have the generation that watched it while it was on the air and airing, in real time. And then you have like the younger sisters, and then their younger sisters and their younger brothers who sort of discovered it and are still discovering it. So it's just such a unique thing. But it's usually like mothers and daughters, young girls.
And do people usually want to talk about, is it mostly Melrose or is it mostly Gossip Girl?
It's mostly Gossip Girl. A lot of the moms know the Melrose, but it's mostly Gossip Girl.
I remember when I met Darren Star once, I mean, I was like, love Younger, love Sex in the City, love it all. But like, I'd like to talk about Gossip Girl. And he was like, I'd like to talk about Melrose. And he was like, you don't want to talk about Sex in the City? I'm like, I only want to talk about Melrose. And he was like so shocked because like it was the height of Sex in the City. And I was like, it's a great show, but I'd like to just talk about Melrose. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But he just couldn't believe someone really was like that hardcore for Melrose.
Yeah, it was a beautiful show. I think it had a lot of heart.
Where do you think Megan Lewis is today? I mean, she ended with Ryan McBride. Like, where would Megan be today? Do you ever imagine that?
I have no idea. I have no idea where Megan would be right now. I loved that character, and I don't know. I haven't really revisited it. I've been like kind of busy with other stuff, but I love doing it. I don't know where she'd be today.
Do you get into, like they had the Melrose reboot way back in the day on the CW, like now they have the Gossip Girl. I assume because you don't watch TV, you didn't watch that and you don't watch the Gossip Girl reboot. When you hear about something like that though, I mean, as an actress, you're busy, but like, are you waiting for your phone to ring? Has your phone rang? Would you entertain it if you got a call?
Well, I totally would. But I know that the way that they've done it, like with the new one, is that they were sweet. They said, we're not bringing on any of the original cast. We're just going to sort of start new, but we'd love your support. And of course, we're all like, great, we'd love to support it. And I think it was a cool concept that they came up with,
is that
for the next generation.
They reached out and said, just letting you know we're doing this. And who reached out? Like Josh Schwartz?
Yeah, I think I think Josh or someone sent an email just saying, hey, we're doing this. And, we just would appreciate so of course, I'm excited for them,
Like, don't take it personally that we're not asking you. We're not asking anybody.
I think you have to make that decision. I mean, they could have done it like Star Wars, where a few of us came and sort of passed the torch and kind of got it going in that way. Or, they do it where it's just completely a new thing for the next generation and made it sort of little different. And, I think it's probably just a creative choice that they made. So
It's really well done. So I had Susanna here recently who played Dorota, and she brought up that there were lots of visits from Ryan Reynolds on the set of Gossip Girl, or some at least. And like, were you there any of the days that Ryan was there? And what was that like when Ryan Reynolds came to set?
Oh, and he's adorable. I mean, we all thought he was so cute, obviously. I mean, and between, I mean, as a couple, they're so gorgeous, you know? I was just so excited for her.
Are you, listen, everyone's gone on, out of the children, they're all working like you, which Penn is in is brilliant. But, like Blake has just become this, like, are you, like, do you still speak to her? Like, are you, like, do you keep in touch with anyone from Melrose or from Gossip Girl?
Yeah, like Marcia and I or Lisa and I keep in touch here and there. Again, everyone's kind of busy with their lives, so we don't like see each other that much. But I've gone to, every one of Blake's premieres or screenings that I have been able to. Like when we were in New York, I was so excited, and I would see her there and give her a big hug, kind of thing. But I think everyone has just been so big. I mean, she's been on location filming and da 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 da. So I would just see her kind of at the premieres but and Matthew and I keep in touch, and Caroline Lagerfeld, who played my mom, keep in touch, and Taylor, I keep in touch a bit,
Do
So
you think, because there was that at the end of Gossip Girl, at Dan and Serena's wedding, we had Matthew, we had Lily and Rufus, it was implied maybe they're gonna, do you think Lily and Rufus are together today in this
I think
alternate?
so. I think so, or at least in a way that they're very much in each other's lives. You know what I mean? I think so for sure.
They
They
were
would
such
always
a good
be.
couple.
Oh, thank you.
Could you tell, like, did Blake ever confide in you when she started dating Ryan Reynolds? Like, hey, I think I met the love of my life.
No, we didn't really have that relationship. I didn't get into her personal life too much. We didn't have time. I mean, we would all kind of go to the set, do our work. The kids were off doing press. I was off being a mom, and doing whatever press I could. And everybody was so busy. It was like, you just, you'd obviously, when you're hanging out on set a little bit, chat or talk. But I mean, I never wanted to pry, I was like, and all of them were out doing whatever they were doing, having a good time. But I never really, unless they offered it up, you know, wanted
That
to get too into it with.
that makes sense. What about, because like you said, like when you started Gossip Girl, or like in the heart of it, like you did have small children. What advice would you give to, like actresses starting out that are like, that did just get a hit series or a movie, or the career is blowing up and they have young children? Like, what advice would you give them? Because you were able to juggle it all and, make it work. So like,
Yeah. Yeah, you just do what's in front of you. Honestly, I don't think there is a balance, or I think it's some sort of idea of balance. I think you focus when you're at work, and you focus when you're with your kids, and you get really good help, and a good support team around you, and you just focus on what's in front of you at the time, and obviously as a mother, you want to make sure that your kids are happy and taken care of when you're working.
that makes sense
So
too. And you do have all this stuff going on outside of being an actress, but I have to say, Dynasty, the reboot, you and Grant show, I know it's like, this is where my mind goes. How fun was
he's
being
so
on Dynasty for?
it was so fun. And again, I love that character. It was so over the top and fun. And the storyline was so great. And Grant's adorable. It's good to see him. So yeah, it was really fun.
Is there a part of this business like that you haven't done that you still want to do?
Yeah, well, I mean, people have been reaching out to me more to get involved in producing. So I have a couple of things going there. And then I'd love to do more action movies and more comedy. So those things I love. Like I would love to do sort of the Helen Mirren part in one of these, sort of fabulous James Bond movies, or, like I love like those kind of movies. Those are the ones I love to go see.
Really?
So yeah, so I'd love to do something with that, and maybe some more, some sort of comedy.
What do you have, like
More.
a favorite action movie? I would not picture you for an action movie. I mean,
I
I
know,
don't know
right?
much about action movies or superheroes or any of the above. I'll just lump it all together. But do you have like a favorite? Like I haven't seen a James Bond movie in so
I
long.
know. What's the one with Matt Damon that was so good? It was Born Identity. I love the Born Identity, right? Because it was
That was
very
brilliant.
international. So the Born Identity I love. I loved like La Femme Nikita, that kind of movie, or The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. All of that's really cool for me. I don't know. I love it.